my, I feel like saying dear friend, we don't know each other that well, except through our interactions at the studio. But here's Will J. Kurtz, and my name is Michael Koran, I'm your host, and we're going to continue this discussion about the first part of this poem by Thich Nhat Han. Oops. Well, we have to go to the top, and we do that by scrolling.
Yeah, do you want me to do that part, and then you can read it for the audience
who that's how maybe you scroll. It's Call Me by My True Names by Thich Nhat Han. Do not say that I'll depart tomorrow, because even today I still arrive. Look deeply. I arrive in every second to be a bud on a spring branch, to be a tiny bird with wings still fragile, beginning to sing in my new nest, to be a caterpillar in the heart of a flower, to be a jewel hiding itself in a stone. I still arrive in order to laugh and to cry, in order to fear and to hope. The rhythm of my heart is the birth and death of all that are alive. I am the mayfly, metamorphosing on the surface of the river, and I am the bird which, when spring comes, arrives in time to eat the mayfly. I am the frog swimming happily in the clear pond, and I'm also the grass snake who, approaching in the silence, feeds itself on the frog. So that's the first part of the poem.
Yes.
And you were saying that you're okay with that happening in nature.
Of course. I'm fine. Yeah.
But not okay, the second part of the poem, which we might bring to you in 2 weeks. The second part of the poem, Thich Nhat Han says, I am the pirate, raping the young girl, escaping from her country.
Yeah, that ain't cool.
And I am the young girl, raped by the pirate. Yeah, that does make me scream and cry more than for the mayfly who was eaten by the bird. Is that because if I was a mayfly I would feel differently?
Perhaps, but I don't even... Okay. I guess it's... When I see the news on TV, right?
Yep.
And every day on the news you hear about people dying. Yeah, right?
Yep.
And sometimes it affects you more than other times. And for me, if I hear about people dying by getting eaten by a bear...
Yep. That happened. Somebody just went into a cave with a bear, some bear lover, and was eaten.
Mm-hmm.
I can't help but smile.
Yeah, me too. I'm kind of like, that's fine. That's fine. It's natural selection. It's natural to get eaten by a bear, right?
Well, nobody morphs into the cave.
We've spent 1 million years building society around the idea of not having to get eaten by a bear.
Yeah.
And if you leave that society and walk into a bear's house, knock on the door, come in, pat the bear on the snout, and get eaten, that is great. That is great news to me. That's a human death.
Really true?
That's a human who died and suffered while dying. But I'm okay with that.
We're talking about sadism.
But on the other hand...
I mean, if that bear came out of its cave and ate a camper...
That's still fine. That's still fine. If you're camping in the woods, you're taking that risk.
Wow, you're tough, man.
And also, by the way, if you're in your own home and a bear comes in dressed as the UPS guy and mauls you,
yes,
then that's fine too. Because you shouldn't let the UPS guy in your house.
This is the man I like because I swore I find someone basic human being, and we're getting it.
He's dressed as the UPS guy because he's brown.
And you're enjoying it.
He's brown.
'Cause
What
they're-
can brown do
'cause
for you?
People are devoured by animals. Sharks.
Sharks. I'm fine with people getting eaten by sharks.
Okay.
I'm fine with it. Lions, sure. But then if I see a news story and it's, about a person being murdered in a way that is like, they were a complete innocent and were just murdered because of man's inhumanity towards man. That to me is a lot more heartbreaking, because that is a preventable evil on the part of humanity.
I guess since it's been happening since humans were created on this planet.
Absolutely, it has.
I'm
but
not
the
so
arc
sure
of
how
history is.
Where do you get that this is preventable? It seems like the nature of humanity is to destroy other people.
I don't agree with that. I think that that's been ever present and ubiquitous throughout all of human history. I'd be a fool not to agree with that point. However, I think that it's also for the entire human history been the goal to eradicate inhumanity and eradicate violence.
Somewhat
and
new,
to
I think.
eradicate.
You know,
I don't think it's new.
You think caveman went home to his wife and said, "Hey, honey, let's stop eating our neighbors."
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, I do.
He said
and
that?
that's how society started. Is we're like, hey, instead of eating our neighbors,
Let's
maybe
make
we
them
should
slaves.
team up with our
Make
neighbors.
them, oh, you're so kind.
And
how
go-
about step one? Let's make them slaves instead of eating them,
Yes.
which was a moral advance.
But don't you think that society, and we're living currently in a society that is, an evolution of a society that was created by a bunch of folks in caves saying, well, let's start a little gang of like 50, 60 people and go out and protect each other and hunt together and feast together.
The 60, right, but if there happened to be Neanderthals around, let's eat them.
Yes. Yes. However, I think that it's been society's goal to be to civility, right? Civilization.
Really?
Civilization.
Where have you been?
Do you think that it's a mistake that civility and civilization are the same word essentially?
Do you remember what Gandhi said when someone asked him what he thought of Western civilization?
Yes, Gandhi was a sarcastic prick who beat his wife and slept with his nieces.
He didn't make love with them. Usually slept with a. He beat his wife. Did Gandhi beat his wife?
I don't know. Someone told me that. I don't know if it's true.
Wow! Look at this. This is your basic. This is Peoria, Illinois. Where were you born?
Peoria, Illinois?
No, I mean that's the heart of America. But you were born where?
I was born in New Hampshire.
Yes, this is live free or die.
Yes.
This is a whole. And you had a decent family, right?
Yeah.
See, we from Brooklyn can't say these things. And look what you're made of. You are the pirate.
No.
No?
No. Okay. Would you not agree that in the past few hundred years, society, and not that it doesn't happen all over the world still, but in a large part there have been great leaps forward in doing things like eradicating disease,
Yes. Yes.
eradicating slavery.
Well, no, there's actually more slavery now, I think, than there was 100 years ago.
Is that right?
Sorry about that. Yeah.
On a global level, there's more slavery now.
I think.
And
There's more people, of course.
There's
but-
more people. See, I think that I disagree. I think that with you, and we could neither of us have the facts in front of us, but I think it would be hard for me to believe in that unless I saw the cited evidence that there is a greater percentage.
Not percentage probably, but there's a huge people who are trying to escape Africa.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or even Robert Kraft. I think some of the women in that massage place he visited
Yes.
were, I think, sexual slaves.
Yes.
But I understand the drift is that there's some energy, drive, even in us criticizing Robert Kraft, or at least criticizing the place, there's some energy to try to make the world better.
Yeah.
More kind, more respectful, more loving, more free.
Isn't it something?
But it's pretty horrible out there.
It's pretty horrible, but it used to be much more horrible. I mean, if you look at just in the past couple hundred years, the amount of people, and I'm talking now in total percentages of people alive, not sheer numbers, because obviously there's way more people now than there were in the past. So just with that caveat, there is a far fewer percentage of the human population that's living in dire poverty. It used to be almost everyone.
Yes, it's
just 100 years ago. It used to be almost everyone, and now it's
unbelievable. China,
minority of the world.
India, yes, it's so hard, but.
And with that, sort of economic freedom, the freedom of not being in this, state of sort of horror or just
trauma,
terror, that comes with just some inherent, human rights, right? The ability to build upon a society and, economic uplift is, I think, always followed by, or usually followed by, better longevity for people, better freedoms for people, sort of progressive, liberal ideas like women's rights,
Yes,
being
yes.
able to flourish, people being able to do artistic things or entrepreneurial things because there's
be on
now
television.
or be on television.
And speak to you and have you watch us, I hope.
So just by the nature of the amount to which the strides we've made towards eradicating disease and famine and all these other
Poverty,
hardships,
yes.
poverty across the world, has, I think, inherently lent itself to there being less violence and less suffering and all of these other things. On an overall, and it's true, there's always been this sort of hype and hysteria, a belief that, things now are worse than they've ever been, that crime, the crime is out of control and all these things. But if you look at crime historically, and then you look at, the United States, it's been decimated the amount of crime that you would expect to see just human beings out there in the wild versus, how we are privileged enough to live in the United States and, kind of the rest of the civilized world. So I think that just the nature of humanity building towards this and continuing,
Yes.
the arc of history is long but bends towards justice. I think there's something to that which means that there's an inherent goal within humanity
To make it more just.
to make it more
Free,
just,
yes.
to make it more free, and to make it
With liberty
free.
and justice for all.
Exactly, and that means obviously no one's free if they're being raped by a pirate.
Now, does it help to know that we're like cats and there's some part of us that is a torturer?
I don't disagree with that.
Right, and some part of us that is a rapist. That's a little harder for me because I'm so shy.
Yes, yes, that's what.
Go for it.
No, I obviously rape is terrible and it's awful, and the fact that we're even talking about it means we probably should have had some sort of trigger warning or something. And I was about to riff on some jokes about how raping is terrible, and your kind of comment about being shy. But then I decided, even though my heart would be in the right place, I might clumsily say something that would be misconstrued, and I don't want to do that.
Yes, but I mean, according to the poem, he identifies with both the rapist and the person raped. With both the, I just saw a show on the genocide in Yugoslavia, and some part of me can identify with the genocidal general as well as the people who were killed. I think I, as a human being, especially as I get older, can see various parts of me that aren't pretty, but they're parts of me. And Thich Nhat Han is saying that he is all the people. He is the frog, and he is the mayfly, and he is the rapist, and the girl who was raped.
Right. And maybe we should move on, because I think we're kind of getting back at the same point. I just don't accept the premise that a rapist and a rape victim are on the same continuum of predator and prey in a natural setting.
So, but last question then. So you don't identify in yourself that you could both be a rapist and a person who was raped? You think that's beyond even any feeling of? I think you might not be right, because you enjoyed immensely that person who went into the cave and was eaten by the bear.
Yeah, but that's because it's a bear doing it.
You see, look at this joy.
I know. I think it's funny.
So if it was a person doing it.
Remember there
if
was
someone came into someone's home and was eaten, not even shot, but eaten.
Yeah.
I can see part of you would enjoy that.
Yes, I think it's funny when wild animals eat people. I do. And if I die from getting eaten by a wild animal, I hope that brings joy to people. And I actually hope that's how I die.
What about being eaten by a person like the people used to fight?
Yeah, I think that's okay too. I think it's okay to kill someone if you eat them. If you eat them afterwards. And if you're in a situation where, it's you or them. I don't mean like, I don't feel like going to the grocery store, so I'll just murder my roommate. Like, I'm not saying that's okay.
There's some joy in that. Look, there's a lot that you're not too far from identifying with that pirate.
No, because
he was having a good time.
I don't think that there's any justification for rape. I think there's a justification for violence and there's a justification for killing, because sometimes those are necessary for your own survival or maybe for the greater good. But there is no justification for rape.
Well, justification is a different question for me, as I understand why people do it. I think I can, thanks to this poem. I mean, in prison, so many people did it to one another, men on men.
And pirates, by the way, too. Historically, pirates were a bunch of dudes who were out on a boat for like months and months and months at a time.
And would rape each other?
With no female company. Yeah, well, totally.
Not consensual, bro.
Or probably consensual, too. I don't know. Different.
I would like to not judge them. I mean, I would do all.
You gotta be careful, because they have hook hands a lot of the time.
Yes. I mean, certainly this poem. We'll just read that line. Dare we? Yes, I will. What's the next one? Oh. Ouch, it hurts to read it. I am the 12-year-old girl refugee in a small boat who throws herself into the ocean after being raped by a sea pirate. And I am the pirate, my heart not yet capable of seeing and loving. I love the writing, forgive me.
I'm not saying he's not a skilled writer. I just really take issue with that point, and the point that's a continuation of the the original. It's
well,
not
even a continuation, he feels I mean, when we go to the movies, we usually feel that we're each of the characters, yes? The bad guy, is that true?
Yes.
We
Yeah.
feel like-
Yeah. Sure. I
We
believe
feel
that.
like,
Yeah.
but I mean, certainly when I didn't see it, but The Sopranos, people identified with the main characters.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I taught them in prison.
You taught The Sopranos in prison?
No, but I taught people like them.
Oh, okay.
I had one student, and I called him Avatar to give him confidence. He would be angry at someone, put them in a trunk, and stab them. And then when he thought they were too wounded, he got back in the car, and they got out and started stabbing him.
That's a lot.
I showed in prison
Excuse me. Sorry.
a movie about the mafia by Martin Scorsese. I forget the name at the moment. You might know it.
Goodfellas.
Yep. And the one thing that the people in the movie in prison objected to,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they didn't mind stabbing someone in the trunk with a turkey knife.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably could guess what they minded, what they thought was extraordinarily immoral in the movie.
In the movie Goodfellas, I'm trying to remember things that had. I mean, I remember there's a lot of killing in the movie, of course, but
Yeah.
it's usually like kind of because someone double-crossed someone or snitched or whatever. I'm trying to remember what else was, in the movie that was considered immoral. I mean, there's domestic abuse in the movie. There's,
I didn't mind that.
there's dad beating kid and dad beating wife and that type of thing.
The one thing they minded was that someone ratted.
Someone ratted, yeah.
So that was their morality. And if I was a better teacher, before judging them, I could be empathetic and understand who they are. I think, and maybe see myself in them, and maybe see that I too, I certainly can now, I too could take a turkey knife and stab someone who was tied up in my trunk. So I think that's what the poet is saying. And it might be helpful to not separate ourselves from them. Maybe we could, as you were saying, make a better world when we don't think that we're altogether different from the demonic, sadistic people of the world.
I see. I mean, I get where it's going. It's not like I don't understand and appreciate that sentiment. I think you need to draw a line somewhere, don't you?
I now know I'm like them.
I don't think you're
was-
like them. You're not a rapist or a murderer.
I know, but I have that in me. At rape, I'm too shy. Murder's no problem.
I actually feel the same way. I could definitely see a scenario where I would kill. So if someone was attacking, me or my loved ones, and it was clear that they were intending lethal harm,
you're
I would
kind.
absolutely kill
No,
them.
but in the Goodfellas, they just shot for fun almost.
I see that. I don't think.
I could identify with that.
I don't know. To me, though, it's more about I don't like suffering that doesn't lead to anything. I don't like needless suffering.
Like the mouse. That's why you thought cats were.
Right. I mean, I don't think it's bad to kill a mouse, but you kill it quickly, as instantly, as
Yes.
humanely as
And
possible.
the torture is hard.
I don't think it's wrong to slaughter a cow and eat it, but you don't torture it. You kill it.
Yeah.
And I
Although
don't.
we do that. I mean, you probably eat meat, yes?
Yeah,
I mean, we do that. If you're not eating grass-fed.
I do eat grass-fed meat.
Oh.
It's actually one thing that my significant other has influenced my behavior on. Is I'm much more conscious of where the meat is coming from and how the animals were raised.
Right. So not too long ago, before you were blessed with her, you were torturing. You were participating in the really brutal torture of these animals.
But the thing is, put it to a vote, and I will vote for that to be illegal. I mean, I can't. I
But
live
you
in
were
a society.
doing it, though.
I don't.
You were doing. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury,
By the way, I also, am enabling people who have, slaves in other countries by the fact that I bought this shirt at Target and I'm wearing it right now.
Oh.
I mean, like,
I had my book made in China, and I tell people, I'm sure, by very happy workers who love making my poetry book in between their breaks. So I'm the same.
but there's a certain point where you have to be a functioning member of the society that you live in, and you can't.
You don't have. Oh, that have to. It's funny. You don't have to eat that meat anymore.
And I don't. I've made
You
a choice.
don't,
I mean,
right?
I haven't 100% done it, but like,
you don't. Some people wouldn't buy that shirt. Not me. I'm not as good. I'm not,
what am I going to make my own shirt? Like, I
you
mean,
could find made in America.
I guess so, but that's also a luxury that I can't afford.
Is that true?
I mean,
You're affording the meat. That's more expensive.
no, it's not more expensive to buy like shirts that are all made by professionals in this country versus
Happy
like
little
buy,
happy-
$15 at Target.
Happy little elves whistle while we work. Some people only buy. I don't know, but in some ways, I think you're agreeing that you're participating in and me too, in the oppression in China.
The fact that I am
The
living
sweatshops
in the
in
United States,
Indonesia.
the fact that I was born in the United States means that I am benefiting from mass genocide of the Native Americans.
Yes, we're not giving. I have a condo. Do I give it to the Native American community? I don't.
We're done. It's
Oh, thank you.
We'll have to continue
Time flies
this.
when we're having fun. Enjoy being everyone.